Próximo. Você tá querendo. Tá.
Bom.
Tem esse aqui. Tem um anel e amuleto. Amuleto. Ih, mapa chave.
Agora eu vou ver se o drop de FVS melhorou. Que aqui tava caindo muito. Esses mapas assim.
Bagulho verdinho, o cara é BR, foi banido. Ó.
Oxi.
Caralho, de mod tá um fire aí, hein?
Caralho. É o outro. Luiz diz,
Vai
pô, aí dois.
ficar vindo no bagulho pra ficar falando isso aí também.
Caralho.
Não, mas. Os caras têm que estar preparados pra enxurrada de hate, velho.
Tem que fazer o serviço direito.
Sim. Eu consegui pegar os comentários só pau, 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 pau.
Metendo ban.
Periquito paladino chato pra porra.
Os caras do chat BR aqui ficam pedindo ajuda pra upar em monolito. Vai jogar sozinho essa porra, velho.
Oi.
Sabe jogar, velho?
Vai morrer aí.
Quase.
Acabou.
Ah, de vez dá pra você inspecionar o maluco, né? Você vê as equipes.
Não.
Ué,
Ah, que isso? Não, tá maluco. É igual o Diablo, os caras ficam fuçando tua
é só
build.
bloquear, ué.
Então, lá é meu privado. Chatão.
Então, já era.
Não,
Você fica
deixa
com você,
assim.
velho.
Deixa assim, deixa assim. Fofoqueiro, velho. É igual no Lost Ark lá. Você acha que os caras não arrumam PT por quê? Entra lá, pede PT, os caras olham teus equipes. Dropou um.
Tô com cara frio ainda. Credo.
Um banhozinho.
Vai dar calor. Tá
Tomar um
calor.
banhozinho.
Você não sente nada do calor, né? Pra 40 graus que você. Eu, Neizão. Diablo faliu o jogo.
Foi de arrasto.
Vai ter que ser, ó. Essa temporada for boa. O dia do party ímpar realmente é vitória.
Use my
Acho que eu no
points.
Air Update ali eles não devem ter visto. Isso porque tá.
Um baú ali embaixo ali que eu abri.
Nossa, eu vou só assistir, velho. Ui, quero jogar Final Fantasyzinho, original. Por Deus.
Eu vender aqui, Fênix.
Não, tá.
Tá louco, uma máquina.
É que eu quase não pego item.
Sim.
Eu dropei o colarzinho lá do coraçãozinho.
É que eles têm, tipo, é quase obrigação deles nessa.
Certeza. Agora eles estão muito pressionados. Que agora não é só o Last Epoch. Oh, não é só o PFSA, agora tem Last Epoch. Torchlight Infinite, Last Epoch e PFSA.
Não, Torchlight Infinite, calma lá, né?
Meça suas palavras.
Jogo não tem. É jogo
Tem o quê?
mobile.
Tomar banho.
Jogo mobile tem nem poder de palavra.
Rapaz, você meça suas palavras. O jogo é bom pra caralho. Aquele jogo lá em teoria, ele é até melhor que isso daqui, velho. E o craft dele é melhor que isso desse aqui. Só o gráfico dele que é esquisitinho também.
Mas pelo menos ele tem versão de PC, né? Ou não?
Pelo menos ele tem versão PC.
Pode, quando quiser ir, Fênix.
Deixa eu ver. Vamos continuar pra cima. Arriba. Oxi.
Mais um que vai de bala. Foi só cara.
Fiscal de
Pagado.
Jogo
chat.
não. Nenhum spamou o GIF lá do Playboy.
Caralho. Cara, tudo fiscal de chat, velho.
Fizeram um play da Report também.
Mano, Diablo, não se preocupa com hate, esse cara ali é casca grossa, cara. Não se preocupa com hate, não. Mas essa galera que tá soltando hate, ele tem quem gosta do jogo. E Diablo é Diablo, né? Sabe que a gente conversou já diversas vezes. Tem como você não esperar melhorias bem foda da franquia. Mais um.
itemzinho chato que não dropa, né, velho?
É só nessa aí, pelo amor.
Pelo menos é uma coisa boa. Todo final de DG tu dropando item.
Sim. Só um negocinho rapidão.
Não, né, cara? É, tipo, devido a questões em empresa, às vezes você tem que comprar muita coisa. Acionista. Eu acho que eles vão falar da indenização.
Tem que dar uma aquecida, pô. A galera já tá
Felipe.
muito hashtag chateada, eles têm que falar alguma coisa pra animar o hype.
O Last Epoch já foi lançado.
Senão não volta.
Já
Senão não volta mais, eu acho.
Pois é.
volta. Na próxima temporada não é que vai estar jogando.
Ah não, jogar ele sempre joga, né? Mas se. Depende também do conteúdo, tá?
A Blizzard tem um
Eita,
poder
que
chamado
isso, velho?
marketing muito
Deu lag
absurdo, cara.
fudido.
E vocês concordam, mãe?
Meu boneco ficou dando rollback.
Mas ela
Ah,
realmente,
mesmo?
cara, ela sabe vender produto deles, velho.
Vender, só tem que saber continuar melhorando.
Piora, mas falando pra quem ele teria, tá? Eu tô ouvindo só. Não, moderador, eu vou assistir isso enquanto eu estou jogando Last Epoch offline hoje.
O moderador do Diablo falou isso?
Não, ele tinha fixado ali, aí agora deu um bano, cara.
Ué, entendi.
Ah, ele tinha dado pin na mensagem ali, tá ligado? Mano, se eles fizerem aquela ideia do Rock, deixar um único por 300 charge de Uber, único por 300 charge de Uber, eu paro de jogar.
Não é só você não, cara.
Eu paro de jogar? Tô falando sério mesmo? Pode me chamar
Deixar,
de freio.
deixar o camp?
Rob deu um feedback pra eles, que ele falou que a comunidade dele achou que tipo, ainda tá ruim pra farmar Uber. Mas é pra ser difícil, mano. Não é pra ser fácil aquela porra lá. O que eles
Certo.
fez de você reciclar o item, ok. Mas aí ele deu uma ideia marcando os caras, falando que e se tipo deixasse você quebrar únicos normal, aí você juntava esses fragmentos e craftava um Uber que você quer, tá ligado?
Ou seja, tu faz alguns
Incarnate.
sigilos ali e farma um Uber.
Tô melhor,
Eu-
cara? Tô melhor, só tô gripado.
Tanto de único inútil que dropa.
Uber bosses deveriam ser Uber bosses de.
Uma coisa que eu acho é tipo. Uber Boss, beleza. Mas não podia só dropar do Uriel. Ali tinha que dropar, o World Boss tinha que dropar. Eu acho, pode ser que eu tô errado, sei lá.
Ah, mas cai. É aquilo lá que eu te falei, a probabilidade é 0 ponto alguma coisa lá pra cair,
Tá,
mas cai.
Tá. Mas ser tipo igual ao do Uriel, entendeu? Porque daí teria outras coisas pra tu não ficar fazendo só.
Sim, só que aí eles têm que deixar o boss, ele tem que ficar mais difícil aquele. Tá faltando no jogo, acho que é a dificuldade, sabe, velho? Tá com muita coisa, mas é a dificuldade que tá o fácil acesso às builds que estão foda. Pega um bárbaro recém 50, o cara pega uma massa de 2 mãos, uma arma de corte, uma arma de 2 mãos de corte também lá. Bota 2 massazinhas pequenas no meio ali dele, golpe brutal altíssimo, pega lá o aspecto do Rota,
Não,
mata
calma
tudo
aí,
em one shot.
não fala pra nerfar o Bárbaro não, senão eles vão nerfar os Minions. Tem que falar pra nerfar os Minions, aí eles mexem no Bárbaro. Que é o contrário. O Bárbaro tá quebrado desde o início do jogo. O
Foda,
jogo
Neizão.
lançou o Bárbaro forte.
O melhor momento do jogo foi no beta dele, cara, que a gente jogou todo mundo aberto, cara. Ali foi, nossa. Aquilo ali, você via todos os comentários do YouTube da galera. Você viu o pessoal elogiando, falando que tava super gostoso, que a dificuldade tava no ponto certo. Pra dropar item lendário tava ok. Vamos lá e escorregaram na mandioca.
A otimização tá uma bosta ainda do Mac.
Tá. Caindo pra 20 FPS aqui.
Caralho.
Duriel você ainda farma, ô Carlos.
Caralho,
Ele é o
velho.
farm do Uber, tá ligado? É que
Também
o
notebook
Duriel
é foda,
deveria ser
cara,
difícil.
cara.
Dependente de você
Notebook
chegar
não
no
é
nível
game,
100 ou
né?
não, ele deveria ser difícil ainda, sabe?
Nossa, o que é isso?
Então, brigo por isso aí, mas não. A gente só comenta as modificações. Vamos ver e... Diablo.
Até eu, fiel jogador de Diablo, parei. Credo.
Pra você ver.
Ô, Max, vai jogar na próxima temporada.
Depende desse jogo aqui.
Você desinstalou o jogo?
Qual? Diablo? Não. Tenho muita run de Duriel pra fazer lá, pra desinstalar o jogo.
É.
Season of the Construct has so much going on.
New quest lines, new legendary
E lá
items,
vamos
new
nós.
unique items, new mechanics, challenges, and more. In the Season of the Construct, you learn of a wondrous place beneath the sands of Kyrgyzstan, filled with untold treasure. Nearly all
Igual
who
os caras
seek this
reclamando disso aí, tá
treasure
ligado? Que o
never
jogo tem
return.
historinha, mano.
Those that do return are haunted, or
Fala
worse
que esse
yet,
jogo reclama de
possessed.
ter história na
You seek out
temporada.
this
né?
place to put an end to whatever's lurking there.
Following a lead, you discover a sprawling network of underground vaults. It houses the Loom, a priceless apparatus built long ago by the brilliant mages Zoltan Kul and Ayujan of
Estão falando
Chaldea.
só
Falando sobre
da
a
liga.
temporada 3, o cara. É que normalmente eles fazem esse anúncio,
While
né?
exploring the network, you rescue Ayujan, only to discover that the demon Malphus has taken over the Loom to create its own private hell.
Malphus is a servant of Diablo. He is unlike other demons we've encountered in Diablo 4. He's shapeless, manipulates others, takes on
Ele foi
forms
espião
other than
aí.
his own.
He has possessed one of Zoltan Kul's prized constructs.
And you must work with Ayujan to explore the vaults, gain access to the Loom, and defeat Malphus.
This season introduces constructs. These elementally powered monsters were originally created by Ayujan and Zoltan to protect and maintain the Loom. Unfortunately, Malphus has taken control of them and twisted them to his liking. They're powered by various different elements, giving them different abilities and strengths and weaknesses. You'll also find them, of course, in the vaults themselves, protecting the many treasures within. As players engage with the storyline of the Season of the Construct, they're going to come across a broken version of the Seneschal during the quest line. The Seneschal is a special
Enquanto
construct
eles vão
mais
falar
fácil.
sobre
built to command
mid-game,
the
ó,
other
Deb. Eles vão falar
constructs
sobre a
based on Ayujan's
Gauntlet,
and Zoltan's
sobre os
direction.
poderes vampiros
Ayujan of Chaldean repairs the
e dá uma
Seneschal to
palhinha
follow your orders.
sobre organização.
The
Seneschal.
Seneschal construct is your companion. It's a rebuilt
A
construct
ideia desse
that will
cara aí do
accompany you
Seneschal, isso aí
throughout
foi
the
de
season.
fuder, velho.
Your construct's
Parada
power
bem legal,
will
porque
grow
é
along
lento.
with you.
Por que eles
The
falam
Seneschal construct has
Seneschal e
many
não
different
Seneschal?
abilities that can complement the
A
player's
pronúncia é
build.
nossa.
It can deal damage,
Pois é.
control monsters, or
Eu
even
jurava que era o
support you
contrário.
directly by healing you or providing you a damage bonus. Magical stones are the key to customizing and empowering your construct. They are primarily found in vaults. You get governing stones from the season's quest line, and you get tuning stones from playing through the seasonal content. A governing stone is a core construct ability, while a tuning stone is a singular modification for any number of governing stones.
As players are progressing through the Season of the Construct and they're leveling up their Seneschal, adding new abilities and improving them, They're going to find abilities that are going to deal damage to packs of monsters, to single monsters, and also abilities that are just focused on buffing the power of the player themselves, so that players
Igual
have
tá mais pro
different
Kong aí,
options as they
velho.
progress
Buffing
through
the
the season.
power aí no.
One
Né?
cool ability is Auto Defense. Auto Defense summons a magical barrier around your construct
Donkey Kong.
that shoots down enemy projectiles. Another cool ability that your construct has is Focus Fire. It is a channeled ray of fire that can chain to multiple enemies. Use combinations of tuning stones to transform a seemingly simple skill into something truly crazy.
Será que eu tenho que jogar essa aqui? Vou ter que sair. Legal.
Vaults are seasonal dungeons that are filled with a high concentration of deadly
Nem pra
traps,
dropar o bagulho.
where you can farm
Pois
for
é,
the magic
só
stones
volta à
for your
noite.
seneschal constructs. You can find the entrances in different zones of Sanctuary. When the player
Suave, à
enters a
noite a gente
vault,
continua.
they are met in a familiar area of Sanctuary. Then, the player teleports to the vault proper, encountering great challenges.
Pior que o
Vaults not only have our new
o
construct
Alpha ficou
family,
da hora, cara.
but also
Após
new traps
essa.
built for
Eu
this
lembro de usar
season.
com ele.
Players are going to discover many
Tirando
new
o Bárbaro, né?
hazards inside
Lá no
these
Bárbaro
vault
do jogo.
spaces.
As outras
Now,
classes
whether
também.
it is spinning pillars shooting out flames or other traps, players need to stay on their toes while they're progressing through these vaults in order to stay alive.
Each vault culminates in a gauntlet of true skill. Players must avoid traps while fighting waves of enemies and a powerful elite. If you survive that, the traps will turn off and the treasure room is
Sim, eu
revealed.
sei.
If you get hit by a trap, you lose one
Essas
stack of
4 horas.
Zoltan's Warding. Zoltan's Warding is a special buff players can get by interacting with the statue of Zoltan Cool when they enter a vault. If they have a Pearl of Warding, ward-woven chests are special chests players can interact with at the end of a vault if they have enough
Agora eu tô
stacks
no
of
chat.
Zoltan's Warding
Cara,
left
quer
over.
que eles mantenham
If a
essas
player
vault
has
no
more than
jogo
one
fixa no lugar
stack,
das
they can
Nightmare
open a
Dungeon. Aí eu
rare
falei, mas mano
ward-woven
do céu.
chest. Those
A
have even better
recompensa aí é muito
rewards.
tosca,
This
cara.
season introduces our first stationary
O
box in
DD
Diablo
Art
4.
aqui tá
This is
tretando
gonna
no
be
chat
a
inglês
fight
aqui, os
against
caras tão
this
falando BR.
massive protective golem meant
Pô, eu
to
entrei no
watch
chat
over the
BR do
vaults.
nada.
The Malphus, once again, has managed to
Eu
corrupt
entrei no
and
chat
control.
BR do nada, velho.
Because it's stationary, it gives us the opportunity to include some of the season's new traps into the arena. This presents a lot of
Eu vou nessa,
unique
galera.
and new
Volto mais à
mechanics
noite.
for the
Valeu,
players
Fênix.
to navigate the
Valeu.
vault.
Se puder jogar.
Nossa.
Players are
Valeu.
going to need to bring all of their skills and abilities to bear as they try to
Falou,
destroy
valeu,
and
Fê.
fight off these Malphus-controlled constructs. They're also going to make good use of their own
O
seneschal.
cara tava me
to make sure
ajudando.
they remain
O cara tava me
upgraded.
ajudando.
Aí
falador.
ele ficou aí,
Tu é assim? Tu é desse time aí? Ah, é bom saber. Vou deixar. Agora eu tô entendendo porque o Warlock disse que dá boa noite e fica os 10 minutos. Agora eu tô entendendo. Tá tudo se encaixando.
Aí, porque só me dá Deus que o Discord dele fica aí, velho.
Tá tudo se encaixando agora. Tudo faz sentido. Falou, galera.
Valeu.
It will be exactly the same. Same monster positions, same affixes.
Ô, Fênix, você sabe alterar filtro aqui
This makes it a
pra
fair competition.
destacar os itens mais
Monsters
valiosos?
within the Gauntlet start at level
Você
100.
edita a regra lá e
Leveled up and geared up build. It's highly replayable, enabling our
Ah, é,
players
é só os
Edita.
magos que jeito, né?
Players can try different classes and
Condição.
strategies for achieving high scores.
aí
Leaderboards are a place
tem
for top players competing with one
ênfase,
another in the Gauntlet.
emphasize, né? Deve
Each
ter
set each
enfatizar
week when a new
sim.
Gauntlet appears.
embaixo
There are
disso.
solo leaderboards for each
Ah, o show vai
class,
ficar maior.
as well as party
Só
leaderboards
só clicar
that
isso.
vary with party size.
Só
Of
marcar
course,
isso.
there are a set of leaderboards just for hardcore players too. But some players may not be ready for that type of play. So we've
É, vamos
created
todo mundo
goals for
botar
them
lá,
as
né,
well.
Bárbaro?
Each leaderboard has a ladder that you climb to reach it. Each rung of the ladder
Ah, dá pra você
awards a
pôr,
seal
tipo,
you can show off.
quantidade de
When
gold
you
que
earn the
você
seal of the
gostaria que
worthy,
aparecesse?
you'll be ready for leaderboard
No.
competition. Can't wait to see you in Sanctuary.
Hello, Diablo community. Welcome to another Diablo 4 Campfire
Caramba.
chat. My name is Adam Fletcher. I'm
mas-
the community director here for
Ué,
Diablo.
Nef
and I'm
não pode
joined by
escrever
two
Nef?
very familiar faces.
Não.
Regular appearing
Caralho,
on
que
Campfire chats. I have
absurdo,
Mr. Adam Jackson here, so our lead class designer, and Mr. Joey P, Joe Pipora,
o cara do
our
bairro
associate
ali, ó.
game director. He doesn't like it when I say Joey P.
I don't hate it. It's just it feels like a running gag that like a very few people have.
There's,
It's-
yeah.
it's now a lot
Tiffany
more
Watt,
now.
our production director,
Yeah, it's
very big fans of Joey P.
Joey P on deck. Yeah, what's up?
We have a big Campfire chat to talk about today. We have a lot of updates to talk about for Diablo 4. Of course, we have our mid-season update, which is coming up really soon. In fact, it's coming next week. So players will be able to experience the mid-season update. And along with that, a very big feature that everyone's been talking about and anticipating. I know it's been a long anticipated feature within Diablo 4. Gauntlet. So we'll be talking about the Gauntlet as well, and actually showcasing it here, because that does come with the mid-season update next week as well. So players will be able to jump into the Gauntlet and try it out themselves starting next Tuesday. But I know a lot of stuff has happened over Diablo 4 since the start of season 3. Just recently we released the 132 patch, which was the one that included
você tem que editar a regra do item que você quer, né?
Actually have a bunch of uniques and craft uniques. Mas you can do that by creating resplendent sparks and then being able to craft the uber uniques that they specifically want if they have to find other ones and stuff. And so, but we do have a lot of new features coming into the actual mid-season update with one really popular one coming back from season 2. I know you guys want to talk about it a little bit more right now.
Yes, we have vampiric powers returning from season 2. Yeah. So we obviously really like being able to bring back some of the malignant powers from season 1 in the form of the unique rings we have dropping from Varshan in season 2. Now, as we're looking towards season 3, in the mid-season patch, we're able to bring back some of the vampiric powers that players really seemed to like. We thought were pretty cool. And bring them back in a slightly different form. I think I'm going to talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, we'll be going over all of them and which ones we brought back and what they do. You'll be able to see all of it in a little bit here.
Yeah, so I think we have a kind of a slide to start talking about our vampiric powers.
Yeah, so really we've got 6 vampiric powers that are really returning from the Season of Blood. They're coming back this time as legendary powers instead of uniques. So unlike the unique greens, they're going to be legendary powers, just like any other legendary power that comes in the game. And they're not all exact one-to-one copies. They're really close to matching their previous functionality and kind of what you would expect them to do. But, you know, we brought them back in a way that's kind of evergreen, that they can be sustainable.
Yeah, they can fit in that mix and match format of the aspect system, right? So,
yeah, so the ones we got here that are returning, you've got Accursed Touch, Blood Boil, Hectic, Metamorphosis, a fan favorite, Moonrise, and the Undying. You can see a few of them here being played out.
Just in case if you forgot from season 2.
Yeah.
Here's some of the fan favorite ones. And of course, everyone loves Metamorphosis, a huge big one. Being able to turn into bats, essentially evade through enemies. But as you mentioned, they're coming back as these legendary aspects, legendary powers.
Yeah, so here we're going to show you the exact text, so you can, screen cap that, figure out all the exact differences between these and what's in Season 2. Largely the same, a few differences. The biggest one I think you'll see in the next screen is Metamorphosis. Obviously, it's really strong. So now it's coming back, but it's going to increase the cooldown of your evade.
Yeah, it's kind of like that legendary aspect we put in Season 3 that increases your armor, but also increases the duration of your evade timer.
Yes, very similar. So, you got a little bit of a kiss curse there.
Yeah, that light effect, that choice for players to choose. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, next going into what our updates are, we've got our generic updates here. So the first one a lot of people have been talking about is snapshotting. We've heard a lot of cases from people they brought up where snapshotting is a thing that's been reported to us. And to give a little bit of a kind of a high level view of what snapshotting is, because not everybody is very familiar. Snapshotting is this idea that when you get a buff, let's say a damage buff, you're able to hold on to that buff for a longer duration than it would normally last if you use it on a skill that is like channeled or lasts a really long time. So a simple example, this would be like the Barbarian's Whirlwind. If let's say I got a 50% damage buff and it lasts for 4 seconds, if I have that buff on me the moment I channel Whirlwind, it'll keep that buff going until I cancel Whirlwind because I had it when it started. And so if I keep my Whirlwind going forever, I'll keep that 50% damage buff way beyond the normal 4-second time. If the game didn't have snapshotting, then it would just last for 4 seconds, whether or not I started Whirlwind when I had it, and that would be how long I would be doing the bonus damage. So in general, when it comes to snapshotting, we want to really remove it from the game as much as we can. It does allow for some kind of cool things, but generally snapshotting is used to do really kind of undesirable behavior, whether it's unequipping and re-equipping gear at certain times or using certain effects at certain times to get way more power than a player should normally be able to be. And it results in the things like people gathering up a ton of buffs and then like one-shotting a boss or things like that in unintuitive ways. So we've fixed every case that's been reported to us so far and we'll continue to, and we're going to move toward more of a systemic approach to taking it out.
Todos os problemas de snapshotting.
Also for the Gauntlet, because we know that a few people were concerned about the Gauntlet and how snapshotting would be
Agora vai
able
morrer
to
com
work
aquele
there.
bagulho do Whirlwind lá.
In the Gauntlet, your gear, the skill tree, and the Paragon board cannot be changed.
Maior.
So you can't do any weird
Gauntlet
things of
maior.
unequipping, re-equipping legendaries or things like that to try and gain an advantage. What you bring into the Gauntlet is basically going to be locked. So it'll be a fair place for people to compete. And lastly, more generic thing, but the Rogue, we found an issue where the Weapon Mastery passive was double dipping on critical strike damage bonuses, particularly when you mixed Weapon Mastery and the Precision Key passive. Players were able to do way more damage than was intended. So that is another bug fix that is coming in this patch. All right, so next let's get into our first round of the class updates. First, we're going to start with the Seneschal Construct.
Yeah, the Seneschal class.
Yeah, the Seneschal class. Yeah. So really, we've resolved quite a few different bugs and also reduced the power of some things that were overperforming. The first one is that when you used basically AoE buffs like the Barbarian Warcry or the Druid's Bloodhowl, the Seneschal would be double dipping in the amount of bonus that it would get in its damage bonus, so we fixed a bug there. And next we did quite a bit of updates to some of the tuning stones. The Poison Support Tuning Stone isn't going to be reapplying the base damage when it spreads. It's going to match more the functionality of other kind of damage over time tuning stones. The Bleeding and Burning Support Tuning Stones were a little bit overpowered, so we're reducing the power of those a little bit as well. And then lastly, the Tempest Governing Stone was basically resulting in a situation where you could get unlimited damage bonuses by it constantly bouncing and getting more and more and more. And so now it's no longer going to get bonus damage and duration when it spreads. It's just going to spread and do that base amount of damage. All right, so next, let's get into the class updates. So we're going to start with the Barbarian. And again, we've got stuff for every single class. Right now, I'm sure...
First bullet, very powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah, Barbarian's pretty good right now.
As many of you, I'm sure, know, the Barbarian's pretty good right now. You know, a lot of people really like Charge, it turns out. It's a really strong skill.
It's a fun skill.
Probably the biggest update you're going to see here, the next bullet point, is that we're not really planning to nerf Charge in this patch. Before, we had talked about kind of our bar for what we would consider to be too strong in the game where we were nerfing a mid-season patch. Charge is like right up there, and we talked a lot as a design team and made a call that we were going to keep it for the rest of the season. So, you know, we know it's really, really good, it's really, really strong. A lot of people are having a lot of fun with it. We could have gone either way on this, so we're open to feedback of what the community thinks, but now with the launch of the Gauntlet, we're going to keep it in and kind of see how it rides out. We've been seeing over time that other classes have found things that are also really, really powerful too. So we're gonna try that this season and see how it goes. But in addition to that, we've got some changes coming for Barbarian. You know, we still get feedback that a lot of their early game is kind of tough. So we're going to be buffing up a lot of their basic skills to make the early game go a little bit smoother. Dele tá ganhando mais buff. And then we're also doing some buffs to some underused skills and upgrades. There's some examples here. We've got Strategic Ground Stomp, the ultimate cooldown reduction doubled from 1 to 2 seconds. One of the Iron Skin upgrades.
Mano, qual é o problema dos caras falar que o Bárbaro tá ganhando, tá ruim no início? Como assim, véi?
And Gore's Devastating Grip. So this is kind of a storied history in our game. Yeah, it was really, really good when the game launched. And now we brought it down quite a bit, and now we're increasing its power a little bit again to bring back Whirlwind builds. So the ranks of Whirlwind are going up from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, and we're increasing the amount of the explosion damage a little bit there as well. So really, when it comes to what you look forward to the Barbarian, it's really everything, because we're not nerfing Charge, but also their early game and Whirlwind builds will be a little bit better as well. And again, when we're going through all these updates for the classes, this isn't everything that is going in that we're showing you. You'll be able to see the patch notes very soon. But this is just a sneak peek of some of the things that are happening. So there is a little bit more for everything, I think, than what we're showing today. So next we got the Sorceress. So Incinerate is a skill that we know people had kind of a hard time really getting a lot of effectiveness out of. So we're increasing basically everything across the board. The damage is going up. All of its upgrades are going up. So Incinerate players should be rejoicing.
Meu Deus.
We've also got quite a few buffs to Conjuration skills coming in. So for people that like using Conjurations. And then also some buffs to really generically used, underused passives and Paragon Glyphs. So really across the board, you're just going to see some buffs to various things. So here again, for Sorc players, Incinerate and really
Conjuração e Incinerar vai ser bufado.
And next we've got the Druid, who's got quite a few powerful things coming. So similar to the Barbarian, the Druids, we've gotten feedback that they kind of, they have a really, really strong late game, but their early game getting there can be a little bit tedious to go. So we're buffing a lot of their basic skills. We gave an example here for the Druid with Wind Shear. So you can see here the Spirit generation is going up, the damage is being increased, and the Wild Wind Shear upgrade, which gives you more Spirit when you hit enemies, is also going up.
So really passado eu tinha feito aquela build de incinerar pra matar.
And then Companion Druid. So we could pretty consistently hear for players that they really want to make a Companion build really work and feel
damage
good.
Buff
so we've got some damage buffs across the board for all the Companions, particularly Wolves is getting quite a bit stronger. So we've got things for Wolves, Poison Creeper, and Ravens. And then we've got some additional buffs to some underused passives. And then last but not least, the Storm's Companion unique. So this is the one that makes your wolves howl when they do some lightning damage in an AoE. The ranks of wolves that you're getting is going to be increased from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And then also the Storm Howl damage, that damage that happens when the lightning bolts come down, is being increased by a lot. And so you could see here...
Enhance. Yeah.
Yeah, so before I was doing in this example at this level 100 to maybe 400 damage, 150 to 400. And now it's going to be doing closer to 8 to 1,300 damage per strike. And these things strike multiple times too, and in an AoE, so it's actually quite a bit of an increase. So really, as far as Druids, your early game will feel better for pretty much every build, and then Companions, and especially Wolves, are going to be quite a bit more powerful. Next, we've got the Rogue. So we've got Heartseeker and Force Foyer, their attack speeds are being increased. So, when it comes to basic skills, a lot of people gravitate to Puncture. It's really, really strong, it applies vulnerable, but also you're able to stutter step, and it feels really good when you cast it.
And you're just throwing knives.
Yes, and knife throwing is cool. I can't give everyone knives on every skill, but I also think arrows are kind of cool. Maybe knives on the arrows? I don't know. But anyways, as far as how it feels to use, the 2 arrow skills should feel exactly the same as Puncture, as far as how you're able to stutter step, how quickly you're able to cast them. They've been made to match. And then we also heard some feedback that Flurry isn't really feeling as good compared to the other core skills, so we're increasing its damage. And then we're also improving the functionality of both of its upgrades. They're just going to be a little bit more useful. And then Precision, everybody's favorite new change in Season 3. We're actually going to be reducing the stacks required for bonuses from 6 to 4. So this is a buff to Precision. It's really meant to help with actually the rhythm and the way that you feel when you cast it, that how often you get the proc should just feel a little bit better to use when you're using it in combination with other skills.
Dá pra castar, acabou de falar ali, que eles
mexeram. And then last but not least, we got the aspect of branching volleys. We're kind of redesigning or upgrading this legendary quite a bit. This is with Barrage, when your Barrage arrows bounce. They do more damage, but now we're actually adding a little bit more to it. So you can see here on the left is kind of the old version, which basically said that your arrows had a chance to split into 2 arrows whenever they ricochet. And, I love that zoom in.
Oh, yeah.
So now on the right,
agora o dano da barragem que ricochetear vai ter dano aumentado em 40%.
And then also they still keep that chance to split into 2, but that chance has also been increased by quite a bit. So really this legendary just wasn't very powerful or being used very much. And now it should be quite a bit better. So yeah, as far as things to look forward to, really range builds I think are going to feel pretty good, and then Flurry as well is getting quite a big increase. And last but not least, we have the Necromancer, and we have a lot to cover here with Necromancer, so hold on to your butts here. So first we got minion buffs, giant block of text here. So really their damage is being increased by about 20% just across all minions. Their health is going up by about 10%. A lot of their passives here you can see are being increased. We've got Hellbent Commander, Cult Leader. Corporeal is a pretty big one, I think, that you'll be able to look forward to. So before it was that you and your minions just deal increased physical damage. Now it's also going to be giving you increased move speed for every active minion.
Yes. So, Necromancers rejoice.
Yeah, minion builds will be catching up with their army and vice versa as they go through the game. We also fixed an issue with Skeletal Reapers where they were spawning too few corpses, so now they're going to be giving a lot more corpses when you take that upgrade. And also just talking about minions a little bit, minions is one of our big priorities to kind of feel really good. We think that the issue with minions is not just that they're not dealing enough damage, but also we want to increase kind of the cool factor and the way that you engage with them, particularly the bowl. So we do have quite a bit more coming in Season 4 that I wanted to let everybody know about. And this is kind of a little bit of a taste of what we plan to do with minions.
The initial volley of changes.
The initial volley of changes, yes. Yeah. We have a lot coming in Season 4 in addition to this. And then next, we've got also buffs and functionality adjustments to a bunch of other things. One example here with the passive is spiked armor. It kind of makes sense that it would give you armor. So now it's also going to give you armor in addition to thorns. Death's Reach is a passive that we're redesigning completely. It used to be that you dealt more damage to enemies that are far away. Now we're changing it to be Death's Advance, which really just gives you move speed. So now, generically, Necromancer players will have a way to just put 3 points in a passive and gain additional move speed more than other classes.
That'd be great, yeah.
And then we've also got some core skill buffs, particularly to Blight, Blood Surge, and Sever. There's some number buffs, and I think even some like functionality and other tweaks to make the bulk of them feel a lot better.
Pra caramba o movement speed dele, hein, velho?
So really, when it comes to Necromancer players, movement speed is the name of the game here, and also minion builds should feel quite a bit better than before. And lastly, we wanted to talk with you all a little bit about how we do our updates and the timing of them. We've run into a issue, not really an issue, but a situation that happens pretty commonly. So normally when we think about updates, in our last live stream we talked about how we kind of made a promise with you that at the start of every season, every class was going to get at least one new legendary and one new unique. And what happens sometimes is we'll have a new legendary or a new unique in the pipe, and we have a cool idea, we've made a new design for something, like I'll give an example, let's say Fireball Sorcerer, right? We have a really cool new legendary for Fireball Sorcerer that we've put in, we've playtested, it's ready to go, but we don't have a new legendary for every other class to go with it, right? And we kind of run into the situation where we have to decide, like, is it okay to put something into the game when one class will get more than other classes, right? We tend to try and keep things mostly equal when it comes to these updates. And so we kind of wanted to hear your feedback a little bit of would you be okay and would it be cool with the community if when we have more than the equal amount of other classes of updates to do, that we just put them in when they're ready, or should we wait until everybody kind of has parity on things? The other situation where this comes up quite a bit is where like we know that a build really needs some help. Like I'll use Frozen Orb as an example.
Cara, eu acho que tem que ter, mano.
We want to make a new
Lembra que eu
playstyle
falei
for
aquele
Frozen
dia,
Orb,
velho, que eles estão, tipo,
and we want to
segurando a
add
galera
like
pra
two
jogar,
legendaries
pros
in a
casual
unique
ficar
to really make this
tudo
thing
nivelado,
sing, right?
o
Like
pessoal
just
que tá no
adding
game.
one power
Eles não
isn't
podem
enough
fazer
to
isso aí,
make this
velho.
whole
Tem que botar
playstyle
até no
work.
início da temporada,
And so
mano.
would it be okay if, you see in the patch notes in the season that Sorcerer gets, 2 uniques and 4 legendaries and everybody else just gets 1, but we've enabled this really cool thing? Or do you think it's smarter for us to just kind of wait until every class can get a cool new thing of that equivalent amount of stuff coming into the game? So, we're open to feedback here. We're going to be looking at, Reddit and forums and other places, kind of what you think. But we're kind of leaning towards just putting things in when they're ready. But we want to
Tem que parar de pensar nisso, cara, que o jogador lento, não sei o quê.
Yeah, how you want us to put these things
Yeah,
in.
get some feedback. We're interested in this.
É uma coisa legal, tá ligado?
Post live stream, or I know
Ele já tá pronto
we know
pro
that
jogo, cara.
conversations will come up regarding this specific topic, and so
mas o cara que não
we'll be
tem
looking
tempo,
around
não sei o que.
and
Porra,
kind of gathering
velho.
community feedback on like what you guys prefer, and kind of going with that, and listening in on what you guys actually want us to do. So please chime into different conversations that you guys see related to that topic, because we'll most definitely be checking it out and paying attention. So and this is just a small, as Adam mentioned, this is just a small piece of what we're actually including in the mid-season update. The full patch notes are actually going to be out tomorrow. So we'll end up posting all those before the weekend, and players can check out the full entire patch notes. And of course, this mid-season update includes all the vampiric powers. It also includes Gauntlet, which we're about to showcase here. So it's a pretty beefy mid-season update. And just to remind people as well, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's a lot of changes in this mid-season update. What we talked about at the beginning of season 3 is like the cadence of how we plan on doing these updates. We've plan on doing pretty significant changes, of course, at the start of a season, because it's a brand new season, so it makes sense there. And then, we take the time to evaluate, and then we make pretty significant changes in mid-season updates as well, based off of feedback that we saw since the start of the season. And of course, once we get into a new season, things change again, and meta changes and class balance changes occur then, so players can expect to see that there. There is the rare occurrence, as like for instance, that we'll be monitoring feedback if something does come up that is like absolutely like breaking or whatever, that we may end up making a tweak on based off of community feedback. But that is typically the cadence that we had talked about at the beginning of the season, and we just want to remind players, like, you can always expect these big moments during the beginning and the middle part of the season for itself.
Correct, yeah.
Awesome. So the next thing we did want to talk about is the Gauntlet. You know, this is a long anticipated feature. It is the leaderboard feature essentially within Diablo 4. And we actually have a cool like showcase that we want to show you guys here. We have 3 different devs that are
going to show you a showcase.
We're going to show you a showcase.
Just this once.
Showcase. But we have 3 different devs that are going to be joining us, and they're going to be running through their build specifically through the Gauntlet itself. And we are joined by 2 Diablo partners, 2 Diablo content creators who are going to be commentating through this. This is Anna Cake Live and Macro Bioboy. Thank you guys very much for helping us out here. And our 3 devs are going to be, of course, from like here within Irvine. So they'll be playing live here within the studio.
Irvine, California.
Irvine, California.
Yep.
And so we actually have John Constable, who is on the engineering team here for Diablo 4. We have Liam Kerr, who's a associate class designer on the design team for Diablo 4. And we have Steven Stewart, who some people may recognize as Leviathan, a former Diablo content creator, or maybe still a Diablo content creator. He's like behind the camera, I don't know, who will also be running through his build through the Gauntlet, so you guys can actually check it out. But what we do want to do is we do want to hand it off to Anna Cake Live and Macro Bioboy, who will be running us through some of this Gauntlet stuff, and then we'll come back and we'll give you guys a few little updates about Season 4 and do some Q&A. So, Macro, Anna, take it away.
Thank you so much, Adam. Hi, everyone. I am Anna Cake Live, and I'm incredibly happy to be here today. And together with my friend Macro, I'm happy to first time see and comment on the showcase of the Gauntlet.
Hi everybody, I'm Macro Bioboy. I'm your friendly neighborhood necromancer. Yeah, Anna, this is wildly exciting. It's so great that the players finally get to get their eyes on what we're going to be expecting coming out next week. We have the Gauntlet showcase, 3 amazing developers. These people, they're going to show you all the stops, and we're going to be able to help to kind of bridge the gap, bring you some of that information about the mechanics that are going on, what you're actually seeing, and what you can expect as well. So it looks like, first off, and I'm already incredibly excited for this because you know I'm a Necro boy here, we're going to be showcasing Liam Kerr on the Bone Spear Necromancer. This is like the build I'm the most excited for, and it looks like we're actually all set to hop right in. So let's go ahead and give him a second to hop into the gameplay here.
Here we go. And guys, we just started the Gauntlet. The first thing that we see the boss, and we just skipped the boss. The Necromancer is just running, skipping the boss, proceeding into the dungeon, and apparently trying to get, I already see, here is the first shrine. Macro, tell me something about this shrine and about this Necromancer. I know that you definitely want to share with us everything that we need to know about this Necro.
Absolutely. So before I get like too deep into the Necromancer, let's basically just talk about what you're looking at in the Gauntlet. We have 8 minutes to get the highest score possible. Every monster that you kill, every boss that you kill, as well as some chests that we're going to see later on, are going to be dropping proofs of might. This is basically what you're getting, that teal score there on the right side. And it's speed, utility, and strategy is what we care about the most here. Monsters are going to be level 124, so this is similar to a Nightmare Dungeon 70 in difficulty. That means that you don't have to worry as much about survivability or crazy damage numbers. You need to be doing just enough to be able to kill things as you run and gun. Specifically to your question about the pillars that we're seeing here, these unique shrines in the Gauntlet itself, we have 2 new additions to the game. One is going to be a shrine that's going to respawn all of the monsters in the dungeon. That's right, it's not just about getting through the dungeon as fast as possible, it's about getting through it multiple times over. Secondly, we have another shrine which is actually going to increase how much score you get whenever you complete any of those objectives that I just saw. And then right there, we actually have the return of normal shrines as well. These are going to be dropping off the bosses. Anna, what can you tell us more about these shrines and what people need to worry about strategizing with them?
Oh yeah, that's the whole, this Gauntlet, it's all about the strategy. The shrines gonna be always the same, they're gonna appear in the same places. And the shrines that gonna be dropping from the bosses, that also will be the same. Then that, yeah, you need to plan your trip through the Gauntlet. Are you gonna kill the boss? Are you planning to use those shrines? When are you planning to use those shrines? Once again, the shrines, the special shrines from this Gauntlet, they will be either resetting all the monsters in the dungeon, and here we see our Necromancer just killed the boss first time, resetted this boss, and he's going back and killing him again and getting a lot of proofs of might, increasing his score.
A
By the way,
mistureba
Necromancer current score is already
do negócio do
58k.
Green Dawn
We are
lá,
going not bad. We are progressing
junto com uma fenda do Diablo
into
3.
the dungeon. The map will always stay the same in this dungeon. It will stay the same for a week. So you can plan your path. You can always choose your way, how you will be progressing in this dungeon. And here we see the second shrine, the second pylon our Necromancer touched.
So to talk a little bit more about the Bone Spear Necromancer, because I could go on and on and on about this build. I think this is basically going to be everybody's first attempt at what the best meta approach to this content is.
Se eles botar Bárbaro
Bone
aqui
Spear
dentro
has
do
a
jeito
lot
que o
of great
Bárbaro é, acabou.
mobility as well as ability to spread damage across the battlefield. So whether you're running past monsters and gunning back behind you, kind of training
É só
monsters
passando dando
along,
dash.
players of Diablo 3 would have seen similar strategies in Greater Rifts, kind of bringing all of your monsters together before you waste any time actually killing them. But whether or not you're just like front loading all of your damage and blasting through bosses,
E não tem como negar, não sei que é uma máscara do Diablo 3.
Like here we have the Blast Wave Shrine, right? This basically means that the Necromancer will be able to kill as they run, not worrying about having to spend any animation time actually casting their spells themselves. I think that this is something that people are going to want to really tune into. Not only is the Gauntlet the same every single week, so literally every monster is going to be in the exact same place. Every time that you kill a monster that drops one of the keys, those are going to be in the exact same place too. So like I said before, it's not just about doing a lot of damage being very fast. It's about picking every single time you spend any time at all, casting a skill, doing damage, or moving. And I definitely think that Bone Spear Necromancer is uniquely positioned in this way to be able to keep that constant momentum in damage output.
Your Necromancer is doing absolutely stunning, really good. Current score we have 141k. We are going absolutely not bad. And guys, you can see in the corner.
Que esses caras que têm acesso com a Blizzard passa
We don't have
feedback
yet
de
any
criador de
keys,
conteúdo,
but
cara.
hopefully we're gonna get them soon. You probably also saw that in this dungeon there are special chests, white chests, and a little bit later I think we're gonna see also yellow chests. The chests, obviously, they have a lot of proof of mights. They're helping you to increase your total score. To get the keys, you need to kill some special monsters. The monsters are staying the same, but you when you're entering
Não,
the
se
dungeon,
tiver
you
rank
don't
geral,
know
vai ser Bárbaro,
which
Bárbaro,
monster
Bárbaro,
it is.
Bárbaro,
You will
Bárbaro,
also have
Bárbaro.
to
Só esquece.
first run a couple of times through the dungeons, kill all the monsters, find out who is actually dropping the key, and probably focus on those monsters also. Keep in mind that you need to
Acertar o
probably
time
kill
setting,
them,
senão
a couple of
pega o
them, to
proc.
be able to open the chests.
Ele
By
tá
the way,
usando
we went right back
Genesis
to
com
the beginning
adrenalina
of the
ali.
dungeon, and probably our Necromancer
Agora
now
ele foi pro
decided
boss.
to finish our first boss, our Tom Lord.
Quando ele pega a distância certa e arranca o dano certo.
Mano, é
It's
um
really
dos dois.
important.
Ou tá extremamente nerfado a build, ou o boneco do cara tá de
It's really
propósito
important to
fraco.
recognize that too. So the
O
Tomb
negócio
Lord is
realmente
a boss that
nerfa.
is
Rafael,
notorious for
valeuzão pros
moving.
9, cara.
And if
Tamo
you're a
junto.
boss that moves, you're basically the
Milhão de
antithesis of a
dano.
Bone Spear Necro. Wants to keep you in a very specific
516.
place. So maybe it's not kill every single pack of monsters. Maybe it's not whittle down every single boss as you go. Since you know where the ones that are going to be the easiest for you to take out, you can make that part of your overall strategy.
criado
And
boss
running through these
arena, né,
sections
velho?
again and again, getting as much score as possible. Probably the best part about all of this, and it's something that like you might not have picked up on immediately, you notice that every single time you kill a monster, like we just saw there, the score automatically flies into you. So this isn't like running a normal
O
dungeon.
patch
and you
lá
have to
que
go back and pick up
eles
those
vão dar
failed
os
crystals that you
buff
haven't
motherfucker
dropped.
semana que vem?
Your only concern is
Terça-feira que
running
vem.
through this at breakneck
Entra lá
speed,
pra ver.
killing demons as you go. And the automatic
Tudo que
pickup
eles
of
mexeram eu
score,
uso.
the ability to know exactly where everything is, having that map fully explored, and then eventually memorizing it as the week goes on, means that players are going to continue to get higher and higher scores as
mano, eu acho que poderia ser mais
builds,
criativo, tá
and as we
ligado? Você
bring
pega
better
boss ali,
strategies
ó,
and better
e
timing,
cria,
better
por
routes
exemplo,
through this. It really
bárbaros
calls back to my
dano,
speedrunning history in Diablo 2
o
and a little bit in
morto-vivo,
Diablo 4,
como se fosse o
where
Bulkatos e
every
joga dentro
one
da
of these
arena, tá
little
ligado?
decisions that you're
Gauntlet.
making could be the difference
Assimila o
between
nome
ranking
dele.
top 1 on the leaderboards or just barely cracking through to that
Esse é um
top
boss que ele
1000.
exclusivamente ele só
But
vai
we're honestly
aparecer
seeing a
dentro do
really great
Gauntlet,
showing
tá
from the
ligado?
Necromancer here.
E aí
We
ele
have
fosse
1 minute
ficando
left. We've
difícil
just
conforme
about
você vai
cracked
escalonando, por
200,000
exemplo, os
score.
baús,
That is actually pretty impressive
o
for
nível
this
da fenda,
build.
se isso aí
I
for
think
até o
that
nível
Liam's doing a
100.
fantastic job showcasing what I think most Necro players' first experience is going to be walking into this content.
Dá um propósito pro
I
cara
can
realmente
hear
ir
that you're
atrás de uma
proud
build
for
one
your
shot, velho,
Necromancer.
porque
And guys, we
do jeito
just
que tá
entered
agora é
the
meio
room,
foda.
guys. You saw that there were a lot of chests, but still don't have the keys. Necromancer need to go through the dungeon, search for the keys, probably search for the shrines, probably reset. The winning strategy here would be resetting the monsters once again, and probably you cannot open the chest, but you will be able to kill a lot of monsters and also increase the total amount, your current score. We are almost reaching 200k, really close, and we have 10 seconds left. Looks good, looks really, really good for Necromancer.
Come on, Necro, get over 200k. Oh, and this is one of the issues that you run into. If you've already cleared out that part of the dungeon, going back through it and kill, there's no more monsters for you to kill. But a great showing for the Necromancer. And can you tell me a little bit more about the screen that we're looking at right here?
We are looking on our total results screen. You can see here your total score. You can see here the amount of monsters that you killed, all the elite monsters that you killed, and all the bosses that you defeated, all the information. And you also can see the information about what you reached, which seal you reached. And our Necromancer, Macro was absolutely right here. Our Necromancer was showing
tomara que o Bárbaro seja controlado aqui, porque se ele não for...
This is the highest seal that you can reach as a player. Tell us more about the seals, what you can say. I know that there are 4 of them. How are they going to work?
So you start all the way down from Seal of the Blooded and then all the way up to Seal of the Worthy. What this basically means is that just running through the gauntlet at all is going to get you that first seal, but you're going to have to crack through higher and higher amounts of total score to rank up to the highest seal. The reason why you want to do that, it's not just bragging rights, as much as the majority of this truly is, but at the end of the week, not only are you going to get a cash just for running the gauntlet every time, a small amount of items, just to say like, hey, good job, you spent your time. But on top of that, if you actually reach the end of the week and you've reached the Seal of the Worthy, you're going to get all of the caches for the 4 seals below that. You're going to get automatic 925 item power that can be legendaries, increase all the way up to a unique. So it's a much better incentive for people who don't just care about the ego part of it. They're like, hey, I participate. I want to get something out of it. You do too. And being able to get that loot at the end of the week is that nice little cherry on top.
Yeah, and I think that we are ready for our second player. We're going to be joined really, really soon by the Ball Lightning Sorceress, guys. John Constable, Senior Gameplay Engineer, going to be showing us the Sorceress gameplay, the Sorceress Gauntlet. Let's go. I hope. Here we are. We are starting, guys. We are entering once again our gauntlet. Once again, guys, the same map, the same big boss is waiting for you right on the end. Also, our sorceress choosing the same gameplay, the same decision was made, skipping the first boss, moving further into the dungeon, trying to get the second boss, probably some pillars. That's an interesting strategy here.
Faz sentido.
This is a Ball Lightning Sorceress.
Nossa, Chaves, velho, de abrir o baúzinho. Nem fudendo que essas chaves vão ser usadas pra isso.
In Season 2, I don't know, absolutely everyone was playing Ball Lightning Sorceress.
Essa chave aí tinha um bagulho mó legal pra usar, cara.
Probably now everyone will be playing Incinerate Sorceress because Incinerate was buff. But yeah, here we have Ball Lightning, and Ball Lightning using Tal Rush's Ring to buff your Ball Lightning damage with the with the power of the
A gente vai uma Ravalion nessa feiticeira aí pra você ver que legal.
Yep. Here we go. One more boss is here.
Wait, cadê o bot?
The best part about, I mean, there's going to be strengths and weaknesses to every build.
No,
right?
You're probably going to end up
seeing a meta where there are builds that only care about clearing out the trash, that are primarily focused on getting those bosses dead and getting those shrines, because the shrines are going to give you power, obviously. They're also going to give you movement speed. I wouldn't be surprised if sneaking in some shrine duration buff onto either your amulet or your boots ends up being really powerful in the gauntlet here. That's a quick little pro tip from your boy. But there's not necessarily one right way to do this. On top of that, every class, every ladder that you're in is actually judged individually. So the necromancers are going to be judged against other necromancers, sorceresses against other sorceresses, so on and so forth. So where some builds may not have the mobility, but they have the boss kill speed, or maybe they have the density, the exact strategy for each individual class is going to really make or break what ends up being the meta for the gauntlet, which is one of the things that I think is the most interesting about this. Whereas things like Diablo here really just pushed us to the question of how do you do the most damage and survive the most damage.
Esse negócio aí de você jogar com uma classe montada, né? Pelo que eu entendi.
A cena do
But the
desafio do
ball-legging
Diablo
sorcerer
3.
is like amazing mobility, great density clearing. You notice that slowed down a little bit against that boss, though. Depending on the scenario, this might be one of those builds where you basically ignore the bosses whenever possible, unless they have a particularly juicy shrine that you really want to be able to use moving through. But here we have favorite drops. We got the reset there, so he's actually able to pop right back into that room where he just got a shrine, kill this boss again. It's just really interesting to see what kind of meta is going to develop as we get further and further into the season.
Yeah, here we
É uma
see.
fenda do
Actually,
Diablo sem ser fenda do Diablo.
Pretty good on the bosses. Probably, yeah, it's worth it to stay here again to spam the pylon and to use the power of the pylon.
Porque a ideia ali dentro é você matar muito monstro, né?
Not die in the Gauntlet. Hardcore players, yeah,
eu esperava algo a mais da Gauntlet. Eu sabia que ia ser uma vibe assim, mas eu esperava algo a mais.
You're gonna respawn in the dungeon. You will
Aí você não vai poder jogar nem com sua build.
Your score, but only if you will run back to the place where you died. And yeah, this is again, you're wasting way too much time if you're dying in the Gauntlet. Here, once again, our sorceress, by the way, current score for our sorceress is 1k, a little bit, we just reached 1k, going really, really good. Progressing further and further into the dungeon, one more pylon is waiting for us, and I want the chest, I want someone to finally open the chest. But yeah, so far, no one can get the key. The keys are quite rare, only special monsters are dropping them.
Ela é alemã, né, Izão?
Yep. 4 minutes left.
Yeah, so just over the halfway point, it does look like the sorceress, their natural mobility. I mean, she could teleport, right? That's obviously going to go a little bit faster than somebody running on their 2 legs. But already doing a really good showing. We're definitely going to crack over that 200k, probably closer to like maybe 300, depending on whether or not he turns on the turbo boosters here. But you're talking about those keys, and maybe I'm just going to spitball this while we're watching here. My mind's kind of already going crazy, theory crafting, trying to figure out what's going to be the best way here. But to be able to open up these chests, like you said, you have to kill specific monsters in the dungeon. They will drop the key. Now, there's the regular chest, there's a golden chest. Obviously, big gold chest, worth more points. But the interesting part here is that how valuable is that for you in your current route is going to completely depend on where you went first. Do you zerg your way all the way up to that key, knowing that you passed by a gold chest in your typical, fully optimized route? Or is that just not part of your strategy at all? There's an interesting dichotomy there where it's just like depending on where the keys are spawning on the monsters in that week's gauntlet, maybe they are huge, maybe they're pivotal to how you can actually get the highest score possible.
Menosprezando as outras classes na Battle of Zir, mas eu falei, mano, se o pessoal usa bug pra fazer o bagulho, vai ser que é o quê?
I see a couple normal chests coming up.
Usasse bug, ninguém ia conseguir fazer aquele bagulho, velho.
Since those are in the same spots as well. I'm going to make that mad dash. I'm going to get back up into there, get those 2 little chests. Sure, that's like good enough for me on this run. But being able to make those decisions in the heat of the moment, or at least at first, when everybody doesn't necessarily have their best route already mapped out at that point, is going to be where those like small little spikes in score. I'm really excited to see the leaderboard as it develops. Obviously, you're going to be able to see the actual builds that people are bringing into the gauntlet on that same leaderboard. You're not necessarily going to know how they ran through it, how they prioritize killing bosses versus the elites, etc. So there's still going to be a little bit of mystery. But at the very least, you'll be able to copy the build.
Sinceramente, por enquanto só tá me dando mais vontade de continuar jogando aqui.
I think there's going to be a lot of mystery. Actually, how we see it right now, it's really a lot about your strategy and not that much. Yeah, your build obviously will be super important. How quick are you? How quick you can kill the big groups of monsters? How quick you can kill the bosses? But your strategy, I think this will be the
key. Meio cuzão que eu vou falar, mas eu acho que é aquilo lá mesmo. O PoE 2 vai ser o ápice dos action RPG.
Yes, the leaderboard will be moving from day 1 and in the very last day, someone will sneak in and will be the top of the leaderboard. Yep, interesting times ahead. Our sorceress, guys, closing almost 200k, and we entered this
beautiful room. Isso aqui é muito triste, mas isso aqui é exatamente uma fenda.
We had 2 keys. We opened 1 chest. We opened the 2nd chest. We are getting a lot of points. We are really close to 200k, and we are moving forward.
Competição é legal, mas parece que você não vai ter como usar seus itens para competir aí. Não entendi, velho. Era isso aí mesmo que ele falou? Vai ser uma build fechada.
Eu entendi sim.
points.
falaram isso aí.
So, yeah, you need to focus, you need to prioritize.
Você não vai conseguir alterar. É igualzinho, Fenda Desafio.
We reached 208k, 43 seconds left.
The other thing that I just really want to hammer on here is, again, so this Sorceress's score, although it's going to be a little bit higher than the Necros that we just saw, not by a country mile or anything, but this score is insular to this one leaderboard. The Sorceress's score is only going to be compared against everybody else running the Sorceress. While you can check your ego and check against the other Necromancers, that has no impact at all looking at any other class about how you're going to rank in that leaderboard, whether or not you're going to be immortalized in the halls forever if you hit that top 10 rank. But on top of that, it's not going to impact rewards that you get or anything like that. You just need to worry about what every other sorceress is doing. If you're in a party, you only need to worry about what those other party sizes are doing. It's probably my favorite part about this. You know, while there's going to be differences between the classes, I only need to worry about my class. But perfect. Sorry, I was gammering on here. We got another Seal of the Worthy completion, over 200k score, 7 bosses, 39 elite monsters, 674 monsters.
Matou só pouquinho mais que o Diablo, que o
these kind of stats basically at the end of all content in the game. Maybe I'm asking for too much, but seeing those numbers like itches some really good.
Matou só pouquinho mais que o Necro, então tá balanceado.
Yeah, it's really, really nice to see actually what I accomplished, how many poor demonic souls I sent. Yeah, I can understand.
Pouco, né, mas cara, eu tô full lentão, você não tá ligado.
After each time when you're entering the
a palma da mão tá queimando, cara.
Café. Palma da mão? What the hell? Aí já é ansiedade já.
We are, I think we are preparing our third player. We are preparing Leviathan. He's almost ready. He's gonna be joining us with a Barbarian, with a Rota charge.
O Rota, vamos ver o Bárbaro de Rota na dungeon.
So, he's gonna be
tenho certeza aí que tá nerfado esse Bárbaro.
Não tenho dúvida.
That is like, that's going to be Season 3. Season 3 is going to be Charge Hoda Barb. We can just put that up on a banner somewhere. We could take down the construct symbol and just put Charge Hoda. No, but Leviathan is an absolute legend from the community. Fun fact about Leviathan, we actually lived in the same city for like a grip, and we just never got the chance to
mais 8 minutos matando
bichinho. But just like you were able to meet him at BlizzCon, he's a phenomenal dude. Shoutouts to Leviathan. But it looks like we're actually ready, so let's go ahead and hop into it. Enough sharing, you know, anecdotal stories. Let's see this Hoda Barb. Big boy, big sword.
Let's see.
I'm excited for this.
Let's see.
Ele tá sem igual brutal.
Muito nerfado. Já era pra ter matado.
No, he decided that 15 million overpower
tá totalmente nerfado.
This scenario.
Mas mesmo assim.
But the Charge Hoda Barb. So this is, I think this is kind of like the apex predator.
É tipo o Michael jogando lá e falando que eu vou jogar de crítico, eu não quero explodir os bichos.
Isso aí os caras fez de propósito. Bárbaro não faz isso aí.
As long as he has all this buffs going up. And basically being able to meld these two concepts together is what every class build strategy is ultimately going to have to look for.
Bárbaro é sacanagem,
maybe you're running double mobility aspects, both one on your boots and one on your amulet, as opposed to worrying about putting another damage aspect there. Because again, remember, these monsters are only level 124. It means that they're 30 levels lower than any tier 100 content you're doing. And I figured this guy was about to get two-shot, but he's giving up a little bit more of a fight here. Let's see. There we go, Leviathan. GG. Channeling Shrine. More mobility.
Ou ele nerfou o boneco, eles estão fingindo, cara. Porque não tem como,
This is what we're looking for in Gauntlet content.
Tá fingindo, o cara tá falando ali que tá só 30 level abaixo.
We need something to be able to talk about here, Leviathan, my boy.
É, que eles tomariam hit kill.
Isso daí foi itemização fixa.
Like this, if you're not gonna plan, you're gonna soon run out of the monsters.
Aí, beleza.
Focus on
where eles fez exatamente pra zoar o boneco, velho.
And Jacob
pra justificar o buff.
Yep, he's absolutely flying through this dungeon, picking up everything.
Porque ele ainda tá matando muito rápido, ele já tá com 70.
Sim.
Ele ainda tá...
Ele tá matando pra caralho ainda, sim, velho.
A partir de agora eu vou jogar só de Bárbaro, qualquer temporada, foda-se.
Acho que até eu vou jogar de Bárbaro. Botar martelão e dar hit kill em tudo. É a classe que eu menos gosto.
What is also really, really cool that you need to obviously memorize the
isso
map.
Porque ele não tá usando o Whirlwind, né? O bugzinho lá, porque já corrigiu ali.
You need to memorize where the shrines are. What we have here, a apparently
Mano, olha lá, velho.
Resummoning the monsters, the shrines
Ela
that
fez 100k de ponto boneco,
they're
mano.
located mostly in one part of the dungeon and the chests are located in the other part of the dungeon. So yeah guys, there's gonna be a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing here.
Something interesting to note. All right, I'm going to get a little bit deep on details here, because I assume most people haven't studied how shrines work in this game enough to know the numbers off the top of their head. But basically what you're looking at is a 30-second buff that is also going to give you 35% movement speed. The cool part about shrines is that each one of them can layer on top with other unique shrines. So you could have a channeling shrine as well as a blast wave shrine, as well as an artillery shrine, etc., etc. But getting the same shrine again doesn't actually do anything for you. While it's going to reset that 30-second timer, it's not like you have double blast wave and double movement.
É que é o Azaka que tá jogando ali, aí não dá dano full direto.
When we saw that loop where he actually came back through and immediately killed that boss again, well, it makes sense. He knows it's there, he knows it's worth a lot of score. That doesn't necessarily mean he got the total benefit out of that single shrine. And being able to basically lily hop or frog hop over these shrines, always maintaining at least one constant buff for them, might be a way of being able to add on mobility to a build that doesn't normally have it. So maybe you're a huge boss killer, but you can't fit mobility anywhere. As long as you can plan out how often you get these shrines, you could effectively link together a full 8 minutes of shrine buff, maybe even longer.
Assim, não foi totalmente ruim, foram medianas, mas pra quem não esperava nada,
monster packs to make sure that you're maintaining your buffs. So even if you're not necessarily
os buffzinhos do Minion
value, you know that you're going to be operating at maximum efficiency when you walk into the next room, where we always
semana que vem a gente confirma.
Will always be a boss.
Vai dar pra fazer druida de Minion e Necromancer de Minion a partir de semana que vem.
My brain is going crazy right now. The more that I see,
não, já dá pra fazer, vai. Vamos ser justos.
So exciting to have something to really strive for in this game.
Não, tá faltando. É um aspecto, você pode, tipo, os mapas você soltando Fireball, Ice Spike.
Here's what we do with
mas, pô, assim, tá ligado?
Tá faltando uma árvore de skill pros Minions, cara. Só isso. Não tem árvore de skill pra Minion. Tem meia dúzia de pontinhos ali.
De ponto que ele fez sobre 3 minutos.
It's probably the biggest. The biggest chagrin I got is, geez, I gotta.
Ele tá com 200k ou é 300? É 200, né? Tá embaçado aqui.
Powers, as well as whatever changes actually come to like the core skills themselves as well.
A Sorcerer fez 210, eu acho, 211.
Right now, he's already attacked here. I'm turning left, here I'm turning right, here I'm touching this. We already in the guide how to do it.
Mano, vai mostrar todo mundo, é sacanagem.
217k.
Não vai não. Se bem que a Renegada, olhando como é corredor, a Renegada pode tirar proveito dos corredores.
It's actually really cool. We were already saying that every character has the other separate leaderboard. Also, every character, the amount of score, the total score, the amount proofs of worth that you need to earn to be able to reach different seals, also different.
Eu acho que os devs do jogo não jogam o jogo.
Por que ele Adam ali joga? Você acompanha?
Ele joga. E pior de tudo, ele joga de Necromancer e de Minion. Eu não consigo entender isso. Eu acho que da última vez ele tava jogando de Bárbaro, não sei. Tanto que a mudança que teve lá de você não summona, não precisar botar o mouse em cima do corpinho pra summonar os minions foi por causa dele.
236k. He is going on the second run. Basically, he is going again, repeating again his run, but he resetted all the monsters. He has here really good choice. He did really good choices and he had really good chances.
That's a secret substat that I wish we could see on this board. How many total miles or kilometers have you run through this individual gauntlet? Because I'm pretty sure Leviathan has cleared this thing out already 3 times. And he's still got a cool
duas marteladas pensadas na cabeça do bicho.
Definitely gonna crack over 300k as long as he doesn't hit a try patch where nothing had been respawned yet. But I mean, the dude's great at what he does. There's a reason why.
Mano, tem que nerfar, mas tem que nerfar muito, assim, não pode maneirar a mão, não. Tem que. Esse boneco tá muito quebrado. É que eu não sei como é que é o cálculo desse boneco, mas é muito ridículo ele dar hit kill em todos os Uber, velho.
On your Barbarian, doing this on your alternate Necromancer, doing this in multiple group types. You could theoretically hit the top of every single ladder. If you're, a crazy master grinder like Luigi, maybe you go crack softcore and hardcore ladder. There's nothing stopping you from competing in as many of these arenas as you have builds to be able to support that competitive nature. I'm only going to worry about the Necromancer. I don't have it in my brain to think about a single other class with how much I need to worry about theory crafting this one. But I'm wondering who's going to be able to like collect the most top leaderboard spots, you know, eating them all up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the new community challenge. Be able to be #1 on 16 leaderboards. Okay, I'm wondering who that's gonna be now when this content actually will be in the game. We have, guys, a little bit more than 10 seconds left. We're gonna hit 300k. I'm pretty sure.
300k,
come
boy.
on, come on, find
that's what we need to see.
Someone.
He did too good. He killed everything already.
Porque não nerfar.
Almost.
Dragão que tá bom, mas você acha que o Bárbaro tá bom, cara?
Let's see these
Arrancar 33 trilhões de dano. Ô, Ica, obrigado pelo Prime.
881
Dá uma
monsters,
macetada e arrancar 33 trilhões, você acha bom?
Obviously the most that we saw out of any showing, but phenomenal job here by Leviathan, as always. It's exactly what we expected from
Tem
them.
mostra só como o cálculo do jogo tá zoado.
Had absolutely zero doubts. Macro, I
E
must
eles ainda
say,
falaram
I'm
que eles
really,
estavam
really
de
excited,
olho
and I
na questão
really
de
like that you
evitar
can
do jogo
get
virar Diablo
not
3, velho.
only the rewards that we're getting, it's a weekly activity. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting the new map absolutely every single week. And we're getting the rewards in the end of every single week. We're also getting the rewards after every single run. And yep, I'm happy that the people who are probably not seduced by the leaderboard will be anyway tempted to try it and to see maybe the leaderboard, maybe the Gauntlet is something for them. Interesting. Really, really excited about what's waiting for us in the next week. What are you excited about the Gauntlet content?
I mean, if I had to pick just one thing, it really comes down to this idea of developing a strategy over a week. You know, we realize, right, you know, as content creators, as streamers, we have a bit of privilege here. The funny part being that everybody is going to be able to watch your strategies. If you're making videos about it, if you're going over strategies, discussing it, basically it's out there. It's open for people to be able to see. So being able to come up with these, maybe a little secret strategy, maybe you save it till just the last couple days and you actually finally test it out. That's probably what's going to be the most exciting for me. It's just this idea of it's not just about damage. It's not just about stats on your gear. It's how good of a plan can you actually create and how well can you execute on it, which like truly tests the player's skill in a way that the other content in the game just currently doesn't offer. But I think that's just going to go ahead and do it for us. This has been such a pleasure, Anna. Thank you very much for, you know, sharing this with me. I hope that everybody really enjoyed what they saw here.
I actually hope so too. And yeah, Macro theory crafter here, absolutely. Had zero doubts that you're going to say this. Guys, it was an incredible pleasure to be here. Was really, really happy to comment on our first Gauntlet. I'm Anna Cake Live. I don't know, follow, like, and subscribe. And we... Macro, you want to say something? You want to add something?
Yeah. And again, my name is Macrobioboy. Macrobioboy on everything. If you care, see me go try to smash the Necro through this gauntlet. Thank you again to everybody. It was an absolute honor here. I think we're going to go ahead and throw it back to Adam and everybody in the studio. Hope that everybody enjoyed seeing the gauntlet, and I can't wait to see you all out there next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Macro and Anna, for taking us through that. Of course, our 3 volunteers from the dev team. We got John, we got Steven, and Liam for running through.
Yeah, everybody great.
Steven actually hit, actually all of them hit higher scores than they did when we were first running through.
They did.
They were learning they were learning the dungeon because, again, with Gauntlet, it is a weekly dungeon that does get changed over.
Fixed. I mean, every spawn, every creature you come through, every chest location.
É uma dungeon semanal. Aí é foda, hein?
Every time you do the runs, and that's what allows you to have the.
Foi mal, velho, mas é literalmente a fenda de desafio.
Again, I'll do a little bit better.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I know with
E não é nem tipo xingando, não, mas é que realmente é uma fenda do desafio.
You know, are going like, hey, because we have 3 different classes here, and again, they're all on their own unique leaderboards themselves.
Yeah, every class has its own unique leaderboard. So when you're playing,
Vai dar aquela caixinha da material de craft,
you're playing against other barbarians, you know, on the leaderboard. But we also have 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player leaderboards as well for players who want to get into parties and try to
skins de passe de batalha interior.
Yeah, and then I know in regards to rewards and stuff, like depending on the seal that you get, you'll actually get more caches, and the caches themselves offer up a 1/925 like ancestral that I believe is in each cache. So I believe if you get a seal of worthy, you end up getting 4 each time. And these aren't exactly like the idea of Gauntlet itself is really aspirational. So there are opportunities for players themselves to, of course, earn themselves into the hall of
pra casual poder participar.
Kind of added onto a
tu viu a edição de colecionador do Final Fantasy?
Forever for each week.
Não, é top, foda pra caralho.
Yeah, we don't really want to see the Gauntlet and the trials
é mais difícil,
where players go to try to get gear for their builds. Really more of a place where players are going to go once they've got like really good builds put together to kind of try things out. But yeah, for players who do manage to clear, for every seal they manage to complete at the end of the week, based on their highest ranking, they're going to get a cast called. There's a high chance of unique items actually appearing in these casts as well. You get 925 uniques out of these. But again, these are really like, more augmenting other things you've been collecting.
É pra casual, cara. Isso aqui, gente, é feito pra casual.
Yeah, and we actually have a blog that's going.
Não adianta a gente bater na mesa, é feito pra casual.
The Gauntlet, including some other
Na hora que ele falou que é pra dar a chance de pessoas que não têm tempo jogarem durante a semana pra poder competir junto, assim como a questão de itens novos não entrarem toda vez no início da temporada, entrar só no meio.
And I know for like the first couple weeks we want to make sure that players are jumping in, trying it out. Especially with these new changes that are coming with the mid-season update, the vampiric powers and everything like that. And then, let us know what you guys think, and then post up feedback on, Reddit, forums, social media. We're going to be checking it out for Gauntlet, making any tweaks if we need to make any tweaks. And then I know we actually have a cool contest that's coming up here, starting on, that's tied back to Gauntlet. It's actually starting on March 19th. We're calling it Leaderboard Legends, but the top players in each of the leaderboards, and there are, again, leaderboards for all the different classes, for all solo, and at the same time for hardcore as well. So if you play in hardcore and if you die in a Gauntlet, your character's gone. It is hardcore for that reason. So, but we will have opportunities for players to actually earn an exclusive art print from an artist named
agora que eles vão
He's a huge Diablo fan. He actually is making a customized art print. That contest itself will be running for 2 weeks. So we'll have more information on that contest as we get closer to March 19th. But players that do compete on the leaderboards, they'll have the opportunity of actually earning a exclusive like customized art print as well, which is actually pretty cool. So Gauntlet shipping next Tuesday, and it'll be in our mid-season patch notes that we have going up tomorrow. So, and we have a blog going later today with a lot of stuff posting. So, really cool stuff.
Stuff happening.
Yes,
now here
exactly.
Back end.
One thing we did want to hit on, and this is some pretty big news from our end. One is it's an update regarding Season 4, and I know Joe. Wanted to talk a little bit about it.
So I'm very excited. So we've been talking about Season 4 a little bit, but like leading up to the release of Season 3, I mentioned some things about Season 4. We know there's gonna be a lot of changes being made in that season. You may recall, for some of you who've been around since the launch of the game, we had some streams after Season 1 went live. We talked a little bit about some of the changes.
Isso pode ser a salvação ou a destruição.
Damage to vulnerable targets was like an extremely powerful stat, an all-encompassing stat, really, in that part of the game. And we had to go back, and we really wanted to take a harder and longer look at that, look at overpower some other things, and try to get the game into a better place. There were just more viable stats for players to proceed with. And that was a good amount of work, I think, that we can suggest. And it was a really great impact on the game overall, but it was, there's some work involved. Season 4 goes well beyond like the scope and scale and changes that we made in Season 2, particularly with regards to things like our stats, attributes, and
muito além da temporada 2.
So while there were a lot of things that we did in Season 2, and we're really happy with a lot of things in Season 2 as a result, there was a much better version and expression of the game experience overall. We have a lot more planned in Season 4, and the team has been hard at work for months and months working on a lot of these things on the side.
Olha que você realmente esteja trabalhando muito, velho, porque na temporada 3 não parecia trabalhar muito tempo,
não. A lot of really fun stuff in Season 3. Season 4 is going to be responding to a lot more of the reward concerns that players have, things with regards to itemization, and other things we're not going to talk about just yet. But the news that we actually want to talk about today is that we're going to be opening up a PTR for Season 4 so that we can get
Caralho, vai ter PTR! Oh my god!
Extensively before the content actually goes live when Season 4
Holy
launches.
shit!
So it'll be coming up, while Season 3 is still active. the Season 4 PTR will go live, and players get a chance to check that out and give us the feedback, and if they find issues and balance things, and we'll get a chance to kind of interpret all that and make some changes as we go.
Caralho.
Yeah, and I know players themselves
salvou, velho. Só precisava falar PTR.
Diablo a better experience. We want to be a part of it. It's something that the team here has most definitely heard. As Joe mentioned, there's a ton of changes, especially around itemization that are coming into Season 4. So the team here really did feel a need for a PTR for players to jump in, try it out, provide their feedback while Season 3 is still active, of course, because we want to make sure that players are jumping in before Season 4 actually does start, and giving us that feedback so we can make any type of tweaks and changes from our end. And I know the team here has been doing a lot of work to incorporate a PTR into Diablo 4, especially for the first time. And so what we will say is, like, PTR, of course, will be before Season 4 starts. We'll actually have more information here in the coming weeks. We're actually going to have another Campfire
chat. As pessoas
chat
testarem e passar feedback para eles. Aí, normalmente, quem quer testar que faz isso.
The content that you'll be playing in PTR. So it's kind of, it will be a little bit of a reveal of what you'll be experiencing in Season 4 as well. So it's going to be...
There'll be some things we'll hold on to talk about.
Some things we'll hold on. Not everything.
A huge amount of stuff. Huge amount of stuff to talk about for Season 4 then.
And I will say it will be we're already talking about it and going like, wow, it's going to be a pretty beefy Campfire chat coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll have more info soon. But and one thing that we did want to note is it is just PC Battle.net to be as agile as we want to be with the changes on PTR. PC Battle.net was the best option for us. Right. So players on PC Battle.net will be able to experience the PTR themselves. And I will say with PTR, because of the changes that are coming with Season 4 and the amount of changes, as I said, that the team felt like, hey, we need a PTR to make sure this happens. Does that mean we'll have a PTR every single season? Maybe not. It depends on the scale of changes that we have. But for Season 4, we most definitely plan on having a PTR. And so we'll have news on that really soon. So we're really excited that players can jump in, provide feedback. I know it's a long-awaited thing that people have been going like, oh, we would love to be able to jump in.
I mean, I've been playing Season 4 internally for weeks at this point, leveling up character from 1 to 100, and it's a blast. I'm really looking forward to getting more feedback and thoughts, just getting more eyeballs and some of the stuff that we have planned. It's gonna be very, very cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, like I said, we'll be back here in the next few weeks. We'll have information on when that Campfire chat will be for PTR and all the information that you guys will be experiencing in that PTR specifically. So, and because I know not everyone has experienced a PTR, I probably should define what a PTR is. Yeah. It is a public test realm. It is the ability of players being able to jump into a earlier build and kind of test it out. Think of it almost like a mini beta test of some sort to experience content that is coming down the line so that they can actually provide feedback over to us. Yeah. And then we can make changes before things go live. We've had PTRs for Diablo 2, we've had PTRs for Diablo 3, and of course now we have PTRs for Diablo 4. So really excited for that. And again, we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk about that. Right. We'll now jump into Q&A. Yeah. We know that a lot of people have questions, and we'll try to get through as many as possible. And then, we'll remind everyone, checking out the site for all the Gauntlet information and stuff like that.
Vlogs going live.
Vlogs going live. Yep. So I know one question that we've seen a lot, at least within the community, is regarding the changes in 1.3.2. With the crafting changes, the ability of being able to craft Uber. Yeah. We've seen some feedback from players related to that, especially related to Resplendent Sparks, how many are required for them. I know you guys wanted to talk about that quickly.
Yeah, I'll jump into this first, right? So for the uninitiated in 1.3.2,